Hi, I'm Jordan Long, and today I'm going to talk about, you know, this thing that always comes up. It's always asked of me, you know, oh, Jordan, why you don't shift your films out? Oh, Jordan, why do you keep all kinds of stuff in your films? Well, we already told you, just don't like doing it. But that's not even the grounds of this film. The grounds of this film is when you can't think of what to talk about, but you know, and there's going to be haters out there who are going to probably say things like, "Oh, Jordan, you're running out of things to talk about." You know, "Oh, your films are boring." Well, that's their belief, and good for them then. You know, "Oh, you're nothing more than a knockoff of the Community Channel or the followership fear, not fear, fair like fun fair way." Um, but that's not even it. So the Google webcam, the Google web shooter has this hang up, or it did have this hang up, where you would make a film and depending to, well, let's say the film was, I don't know, let's say the film ends at 10 minutes. Now, if it does that, and then everything would be good, and then one day, let's say an 11-minute film shifts into a 5-minute film, and you don't know where the rest of it went. And at first you might say, oh, well, maybe it was a mishap with YouTube. So then you would put it back on again if you pick to do that again, and some will do that. And then you'll do it once. You'll think it's a mishap with YouTube or whatever. You'll just say, okay, it's a one-time thing. Then you'll make another film, and you'll cut that film to make it short. And you're like, that's when you figure it out. But it has not been doing that in some time. We have been working with this for at least, 3 weeks now? Going to be 4 weeks? And so far it hasn't done it. How do we know this? Because we watch all the films after they get relayed to YouTube, to see if the time is the same, and the time is the same. It's almost like it was like a one-time, oh, you making short films? Well, I don't like short films. You better make them long. Oh, you making them short? Now you making them long? Okay, fuck you. I'm shifting all this shit out. Almost like it was handicapping you, almost like it was handicapping you for, making long films and making short films, almost like almost like you were being handicapped for your films either being too long or being too short, or being too short. And it's not like you're gonna say, look, I'm sad. I'm sad about making my films short, but that's how long I want to make my films for. Well, then I'm cutting them off. You gotta stop doing that. I'm gonna start cutting them off. You do that. Truth is, the truth is that the Google web shooter hasn't always been a filmmaker. It hasn't always shot films. And it's in the beginning of its life. Well, when I got this, it was 2015. Wow, so most of its life up to that point, it was just a likeness shooter. All it would do is shoot your likeness. It wasn't until like last year that it actually got an update to actually make it where it could actually film. So most of its life, it wasn't a film shooter. But then again, making long films and making short films, shouldn't be a hang up. And the hang up has not come back. Whatever, we've been working with it for what, 3 weeks now, going on to be 4 weeks, and it hasn't shown up again. It has not, you know. So it's almost like this. Well, I used to be a jerk back in the day, and I used to cut your films short. Well, no, I'm not going to cut your films short anymore. If you want to make long films and make short films, that's your own business. And I'm sad that I cut your films out. Yeah. So much for something that's not alive, and it's a toll, and now it's sad for being a jerk and cutting out your films. Now, a lot of folks will say, oh, what about updates? Well, you do get Google updates for Google Chrome OS. But if that actually stops, if it actually does anything to stop that from happening, I don't think it has. But the hang up has not shown up in some time. And I have been working with this for 3 weeks now, 4 weeks now. And I don't know how long I've been working with it, but I've been working with it for some time, and it has not been doing that. And maybe it hasn't done that since I've actually been making long films, that all my films have been long except for maybe the Saturday one. But then again, it didn't hold that on me. All the films after that were still being long, so I don't know. Ow. Now, with some other Google web shooters, some of the hang up might be, oh, it doesn't stop shooting. You hit stop, but it keeps on filming. Or it starts putting the films and it starts shifting the films into whatever you want to call them, files, that being a borrowed word, or some kind of or it'll make films and then YouTube can't upload them. So those are two of the other hang-ups, but most likely I never had any of those two. The one that I used to have where it would cut your film short on you. And I'm probably frightened right now by talking about this because I think that it's going to do it. That it's going to hear me and say, oh, so you're talking about my old hang-up, right? Well, guess what? You've been talking about it. I guess I'm going to do it. No, don't do it. Well, you've been talking about me in my old hang-up, so I'm going to do it. And that's what I'm frightened of. I'm frightened that it's going to do that. So you can see how I have to stretch my films out. But anyway, it is what it is. Now, some folks might wonder, why was the Saturday film so short? Well, if they saw the Sunday film, you know why it was short. My god sister Gabrielle had to go get her blood work on in the morning. And it is what it is. Dwayne had to go get his blood work on, so he couldn't be here. So that's why Sailor Moon and Sarah Yornis and my film were short films, not the longest length that we truly wanted them to be. But that's why my film was short, as I already explained it to you. So, yeah. That's why that film was short. And another thing is that you folks are like, well, is there any other things you can do with this Google web shooter? Well, besides make a film, you can make a likeness. That's it. You can shift, I guess, on what side of the room you want it to be looking at, but that's about it. You can't do anything else to it. There is no other shifting tools on it. There's only stop, and that's it. You can't steal it, and go and do something. If something comes up, you either have to stop your film or make a whole new one. There are no other shifting tools to speak of. This isn't the Microsoft one or the Apple one where they give, well, even with the Microsoft one and the Apple one, even then those ones don't really have that much to them either. But I like this. I'm happy that it's still working good after 3 weeks going into 4 weeks. And it is what it is. Okay, that's it. I'm Jordan Long, and I'll see you later.